Okay, thank you very much, Sandrine, and hello everyone. So my name is Michael. I'm an account manager at AWS, and I have the pleasure to work together with SEEBURGER and to build great solutions for our joint customers. And today in this webcast, we will talk about how SEEBURGER and AWS solutions, or how we have built solutions that are so-called well architected from AWS. So in the next minutes, I will share some insights about what it actually means to build secure, resilient, cost-effective software in the cloud. So let me begin with a quote from our CEO. So our CEO, Andy Jassy, always says that there's no compression algorithm for experience, which means AWS has the most experience running public clouds. And this is important because we are sharing all our experiences with our partners, like we did and do with SEEBURGER to build the best software for our joint customers. So we have been doing it for, I would say, the longest, 17 years and still counting. We have the largest and most dynamic community of customers and partners, and we serve the most demanding needs. So based on this, we have learned firsthand that certain challenges, like smooth scaling to thousands of customers, surface as the world cloud is growing. AWS has learned to think ahead and also eliminate these challenges before they occur. So what does well architectured now mean in this context, and how are you using it? So the framework has been built from our years of experience with thousands of customers, and it all comes down to four main points. So first of all, we want to build and deploy faster, which means by reducing firefighting, capacity management, and by using automation, we can experiment and release value more often than ever before. We also lower or mitigate risk. So, we understand the risks in an architecture and address them before they impact your business and distract your teams. We also make informed decisions. So we want to ensure you have made active architectural decisions that highlight how they might impact your business outcomes and not just your IT architecture. And last but not least, we want everyone, and especially in this case, we wanted to practice this with SEEBURGER to make sure our partners and joint customers are aware of these best practices that we have learned through reviewing thousands of customers' architectures on AWS. So we have seen customers use this framework to successfully achieve all of these. And now I'm going to tell you more about what the framework actually is and what the benefits from it are. So creating technology solutions is a lot like constructing a physical building. So if the foundation is not solid, it may cause structural problems that undermine the integrity and function of the building. And if you neglect any of the 6 pillars of security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, operational excellence, and sustainability, when architecting technology solutions, it can become a challenge to build a system that really delivers functional requirements and meets your expectations, right? So when we incorporated all of these pillars in our architecture with SEEBURGER, it helped us to produce stable and efficient systems, allowing you to focus on functionality and not worry anymore about the architecture that's behind. So let's have a look at how it works and the mental model behind it. So general design principles, first of all, help to adopt the appropriate mental model when building for the cloud, ensuring you take advantage of the capabilities of AWS and free yourself from all the constraint of traditional approaches. So what we basically did is the following. We implemented these general design principles and improved on those. So while consequently working on pillar-specific design principles as well, in this case, for example, to prepare for possible security events. The reason for this is we want to eliminate possible risk scenarios before they occur and not deal with them once our customers notice it and tell us, hey, something isn't working anymore. So based on this mental model, let's do a deep dive on the general design principles and also the pillar-specific ones. Talking about the general design principles, cloud computing has opened up the technology space to a whole new world of thinking, where constraints we used to have in a traditional environment no longer exist. In the cloud, constraints versus traditional architecture or infrastructure have been removed, so we are now using these principles to take advantage of that. The well-architected framework itself identifies a set of general of these principles to facilitate good design in the cloud. So first of all, it would be about stop guessing your capacity needs. If you make a poor capacity decision when deploying a workload, you might end up sitting on expensive idle resources or dealing with the performance implications of limited capacity. With cloud computing, on the other hand, these problems can simply go away. You can use as much or as little capacity as you need and scale up and down automatically. Also, you're able to test systems at production scale. So in the cloud, you can create a production scale test environment on demand, complete your testing, and then decommission the whole resources again. Because you only pay for the test environment when it's running, you can simulate your live environment for a fraction of the cost of testing on premises. Also, you can automate with architectural experimentation in mind. Automation permits you to create and replicate your workloads at low cost and avoid the expense of manual effort. You can track changes to your automation, audit the impact, and revert to previous parameters when necessary. Also, a very important thing is considering evolutionary architectures. So in a traditional environment, architectural decisions are often implemented as static, one-time events with a few major versions of system during its lifetime. And in the cloud, the capability to automate and test on demand lowers the risk of impact from design changes. This permits the systems to evolve over time so that businesses can take advantage of innovations as a standard practice. There are a couple of more. Let me tell you about one more. So driving architectures using data. It's a very important one from my point of view. So in the cloud, you can collect data on how your architectural choices affect the behavior of your workload. This lets you make fact-based decisions on how to improve your workload further. So your cloud infrastructure is code, so you can use that data to inform your architecture choices and improvements over time. So you will find yourself being stuck in a cycle of continuous improvement, which is, I would say, a very good thing. So let's have a look at the specific pillar number 1, operational excellence. So just to give you a couple of examples, in operational excellence, we implement lots of observability. So we want to gain comprehensive insights into workload behavior, performance, reliability, cost, and also health of your systems. We're using key performance indicators, KPIs, and also telemetry data to make informed decisions and also take prompt action. Based on this, we can automate safely. So applying engineering discipline to the entire environment, defining workloads, infrastructure, we can define procedures as code. We automate operations to achieve consistent responses and reduce human error. So also, it will enable you to make frequent, small reversible changes. So design scalable, loosely coupled workloads that allow for regular updates, use automated deployment techniques to reduce risk, and allow for quick reversals if needed. Also, it's about refining operations procedures. So we continuously evolve operations as workloads change. We also anticipate failure. So we conduct failure scenario testing to understand the risks and improve response procedures. So really making informed decisions here as well. And we also learn from operational events and metrics. So really using the lessons learned from all operational events and failures to drive improvement. So again, you will find yourself being stuck in a mechanism of constantly improving what you're doing. So here's another quote from our CTO, Werner Vogels. He always says that security is our top priority. So which means if you want to build workloads that are trusted by your customers, then you will have to demonstrate security across a broad range of services. So AWS provides all the services which are specific in nature and can work to address the wide range of security challenges of our customers, regardless of their size and industry. When looking at the specific pillars of this principle in the well-architected framework, we're talking about, first of all, for instance, zero trust principles, implementing a strong identity foundation. So we implement the principle of least privilege and enforce separation of duties with appropriate authorization for each interaction with your AWS resources. So we're really centralizing this piece of identity management. We also maintain traceability. So we monitor, alert, audit actions and changes made to the environment in real time, and also integrated these logs and metric collections with systems to automatically investigate and take action based on what's happening. So there's a lot of automation also taking place here. We're also applying security across all layers. So we apply a defense in-depth approach with multiple security controls. For instance, the edge of the network, VPCs, load balancing, every single instance and compute service, operating system, application, code, and so on and so on. So there's a specific service to secure everything that you have. Also very important, especially when it comes to data protection. We protect data in transit and at rest, and that's a best practice we're sharing with all our customers. So we help classifying the data into sensitivity levels and use mechanisms such as encryption, tokenization, and access control where appropriate. And also, of course, we want to keep people away from data because we want to use mechanisms and tools to reduce or even eliminate the need for direct access or manual processing of data. So this reduces the risk of mishandling or modification and human error when handling sensitive data. And last but not least, we all know this, prepare for security events. So we need to be prepared for an incident by having incident management, investigation policy, and processes that align to your organizational requirements. So we run incident response simulations and also use tools with automation to increase speed for detection, investigation, and of course, you can be sure your system will require very fast if something even happens, because we are very proactive on this. So another big part of designing well-architected systems is also about reliability. So how we make sure AWS is reliable comes all down to the AWS region design for reliability. So unlike other cloud infrastructure providers, each AWS region across the world has multiple so-called availability zones. And each so-called availability zones consists of multiple and also physically separated data centers, which allow for highly redundant systems. And also each region also has two independent and fully redundant transit centers that allow traffic to cross the AWS network, enabling regions to connect to the global network again. And further, this is very interesting to know, we don't use other backbone providers for AWS traffic once it hits our backbone. It's fully owned and built by AWS. So talking about reliability, we have the same pillar again as for the other ones. And this one comes down to automatically recover from failure. So we are monitoring these KPIs I've been talking about earlier, and use these to trigger automated recovery processes when thresholds are breached, enabling quick response to failures and even preemptive action. So we also test recovery procedures. So we utilize the cloud environments to simulate failures and validate recovery strategies. So we're not waiting for something to break and then see how it works, because we tested this one before. So this proactive approach helps identify and fix potential issues before they occur in real scenarios, reducing the overall risk for you. Also, when we talk about horizontal scaling, we can distribute workloads across multiple smaller resources instead of relying on a single large resource. So this approach minimizes the impact of individual failures, if they even occur, and of the overall system, of course, and eliminates single points of failure to keep your application very, very reliable. There are also things like dynamic capacity management, so you can use cloud capabilities to monitor demand and utilization, automatically scaling resources up or down as they are needed. So this prevents resource saturation and ensures efficient resource allocation without over or under provisioning. So if your workload scales, you can of course upscale. If your workload scales down, you can downscale all the time. And last but not least, automated change management means we implement changes to infrastructure through automation. So this includes managing changes to the automation itself, allowing for better tracking and review of all modifications. So all of these strategies aim to enhance system reliability by focusing on proactive testing, efficient resource distribution, dynamic scaling, automated management of both resources and changes. And the overall goal is to create more resilient systems that can quickly adapt to and also recover from potential failures. And to just show you the impact of what we designed here with this reliability pillar and all the experience we gathered with thousands of customers and also the region design, well, it's quite, I would say, a manifestation of our operational excellence is or results in this higher resiliency. So when you look at the graphic, AWS has year on year less service disruption on services than any other cloud provider. And you can see the numbers from 2023 here. And when I'm monitoring the numbers for this year, I would say it will look kind of the same for it. So if you really want to run a reliant software architecture in the cloud, I would say AWS is kind of the best choice you can get. So let's have a look at another pillar from the framework, which is called the performance efficiency pillar. So what we do here is we basically democratize advanced technologies. So what does that mean? So we or you can utilize cloud vendor services for complex technologies like, let's say, NoSQL databases or machine learning. So this allows teams to focus on product development rather than managing infrastructure, which means your teams can be able to actually focus on creating business value while AWS is taking over all the heavy lifting and providing you with the best and advanced technology that's out there on the market. You can also go global quickly. So you can take advantage of multiple AWS regions to deploy workloads globally, improving latency, improving user experience, and all of this in a very cost-efficient way. Another one would be you can adopt modern services like serverless architectures, so reducing the need for managing physical servers, lowering the operational burden, and potentially also reducing costs through more efficient resource utilization. You can increase experimentation, so by leveraging all the flexibility of the cloud resources to conduct more frequent cooperative testing of different configurations, instant types, or even storage options. Just find out whatever works best for you. That's what we also did with SEEBURGER, and I think we found the best resources to provide the best software. So last but not least on this, we also apply mechanical sympathy, which is quite a cryptic description, I know, but it's more about understanding how cloud services are consumed and choosing technologies that best align with the workload goals. Considering factors like data access patterns when selecting databases or storage solutions, or to actually find the best CPU performance with the service you are planning to use. So all of these strategies aim to empower organizations to innovate more rapidly, operate more efficiently, and also scale more easily by taking full advantage of cloud capabilities. The focus is really on using cloud services to simplify complex tasks, expand global reach, reduce infrastructure management, increase experimentation, and also optimize technology choices for specific workload requirements. So you can always be sure you will be using the best in technology and also the latest technology that's out there on the market. So when you remember all the pillars, we got another one, pillar number 5, which means after we've been building reliant and secure, operational excellent, and also performant architectures, we don't stop there because we want everything to be as cost optimized as possible. So there are also 5 design principles for cost optimization in the cloud, which means first of all, we need to implement cloud financial management. So to actually achieve the financial success that everyone's talking about and really accelerate the business value in the cloud, we needed to invest in cloud financial management and cost optimization. So similar to the security operational excellence capability, we have built these capabilities through knowledge building, programs, resources, and also processes and services to actually build a cost-efficient architecture, which of course means lower prices for the provider, which means lower prices for the end customer. Also, it is important to note that when using the cloud, you're adopting a consumption model. So you only pay for the resources that you require and increase or decrease usage depending on business requirements. Not by using elaborate forecasting, maybe just by seeing what you actually need and then getting what you actually desire. So also, it's not just about measuring the cost, it's about measuring the overall efficiency. So we're measuring the business output of the workload and the costs associated with delivering it. So using this measure to know the gains you make from increasing output and reducing costs. You also stop spending money on undifferentiated heavy lifting. So AWS, and I told you before, AWS does the heavy lifting for you of data center operations, like racking, stacking, powering servers. It also removes the operational burden of managing operating systems and applications if you're using managed services. This permits you to focus on your customers and business projects rather than focusing on IT infrastructure, because that's nothing you want to really worry about. You can just let AWS do all of these things. And yeah, also last but not least on this pillar, the cloud makes it simple to accurately identify the usage and cost of systems, which then permits transparent attribution of IT costs to individual workload owners. So in the case of software, this means there's not a big bunch of servers that is allocated to any of the customers, but no, you will know what you actually get. And this helps measure return on investment and gives workload owners an opportunity to optimize their resources and reduce cost for you as a customer, of course. So the 6th pillar, it's about sustainability design and principles. And to be honest, I don't want to dive too deep into this. We've been talking about this in last year's webcast. And if you're interested in this topic, where we talked about all the energy efficiency and how we are sustainably building data centers, you're happily invited to just Google or ask us for the blog post we had last year, but also the webcast we recorded. Still, I want to give you a summary of this. So AWS actually helps you to focus on the environmental impact you're having with your systems. So we talk about understanding the impact you have when using AWS services. We want to help you attain your sustainability goals. we want to always provide you the most efficient hardware and software solutions. And also, we want to just reduce all the downstream impacts we have with all the cloud workloads out there and be very aware of the impact we are having on the environment and to have this top of our minds, just to take care about what we're actually doing with the world around us. And there's a lot of investments going on from AWS. We're signing lots of contracts with projects that support environmental strategies or projects. So if you're interested in this, feel free to get in touch also. So as a conclusion, I would say AWS is really made for running enterprise software. And here's a summary of everything we discussed. It's not an all-comprehensive list of why running solutions on AWS is a game changer, but it should provide quite a good idea on how AWS is thinking long-term, optimizing value for our customers, provide the right availability and scalability, but without, of course, ever compromising security, because that's job zero, as I told you before. And yeah, when looking at what the benefits of AWS in this space are, so we can proudly say we're actually the enterprise leader. So we positioned ourselves as a leader in the Magic Quadrant for, I think, 13 years in a row now, and we will continue to do so. We have the most proven operational experience. So we help millions of customers since 2006, having the best availability track record, running a wide variety of use cases at greater scale than any other cloud provider. We care a lot about long-term value. So I've been talking a lot about cost optimization as well. So every time we're using our economies of scale to bring down our own cost, we want to pass over the savings to our customers as well. So just for instance, we had 134 price reductions since 2006, which we passed over to our customers. We're also living a culture of innovation. So we're recognized as one of the most innovative public cloud providers. And we have also the fastest pace of innovation. So every time you're using AWS resources, you can be sure you're using the latest technology. Also, we have lots of services. There are only over 200 services to help you achieve all of your goals, whether it be security, performance, you want to outsource anything, you need an AI service. There's something at AWS that can help you. Just get in touch if you want to know anything. And by the way, that's what we did with SEEBURGER too. We chose the best services to deliver best-in-class software for our joint customers. And last but not least, talking about this partnership here, AWS has millions of active customers every month. The AWS partner network has really lots of partners. We have such a huge community. And as you can see, we're not only in the US, almost 70% of all the partners are actually headquartered outside of the United States. So you can benefit from a really large network. And we are very proud of our partner ecosystem. And we are also very proud of working together with SEEBURGER as a partner in this case. So, yeah, there's nothing left to say instead of thank you so much for attending today's webcast. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And I'm trying to answer all of them. And if you want to get in touch on LinkedIn or anyone else, feel free to do so. And with this, back to you, Sandrine.
Yeah, there were questions coming in. So the first one was, what exactly is the process that AWS follows to help customers and partners be well architectured?
All right, thank you very much. So there's two types of processes we can actually get you into. So the first of all, we are using this well-architected framework to to deliver well-architected reviews. So what we do in a well-architected review is we help you building your architecture for the system you want to build. And then it's kind of a, let's say, question bank or question framework. We just walk over the whole architecture and see whether there's something to improve or whether you have any gaps. And it's not only to identify the gaps, it's also about get some remediation actions out of it. So once we find a gap, we will also tell you how to improve on it to actually be well architected with AWS. And the second one is we don't only want to do this once. There are services on the AWS console, for instance, the Trusted Advisor, or also the well-architected service, which will continuously monitor your architecture and give recommendations about, hey, there might be a new security service you want to use, or if you're, for instance, using an instance type that is, or maybe there's a newer generation of instance types, and we recommend you to do it or to use it because it has a higher performance price ratio or something like this.
Okay, thank you. The second question was, someone would like to know how they can benefit from all the benefits as a SEEBURGER customer.
Yeah, very good question. I tried to reference it during the webcast already. So what we did with SEEBURGER is when we were building the architecture in the beginning, we were building it based on the well-architected framework. So once the architecture was ready and we wanted to deploy the first customers, we did the well-architected review first. So we could be very sure that every joint customer we are onboarding on any cloud solution from SEEBURGER on AWS, we made sure it's cost efficient, it's reliant, it's performant, it's operational excellence. So all of these pillars we've been checking. So every time you receive an offer from SEEBURGER to actually have your solution deployed on AWS, you can be very sure that it's well architected and that you will get the best of technology you can get, and also the latest version of what AWS has to offer, while staying secure, of course.
Okay, thank you very much. And that was the last question. Thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the insights. And as I've mentioned at the beginning, we'll send you the recording as well as the presentation slides shortly. Please visit our website to learn more or watch the past webcast on demand. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time talking about cloud migration. If you have any other comments or questions that have not been answered today, you can, of course, contact us at any time. We're happy to help. When we now close this webcast, you'll be led to a website asking you to answer a few quick questions on how we did today. We'd very much appreciate your feedback. And yeah, again, thank you everyone for joining us. Take care and see you soon. Bye.